नमस्ते, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया। आई एम जेवीएन डॉक्टर मीनाक्षी, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर इन डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ शलाक्य तंत्र, फैकल्टी ऑफ आयुर्वेदिक साइंस, ज्योति विद्यापीठ विमेंस यूनिवर्सिटी। आज का हमारा टॉपिक है एनाटॉमी ऑफ स्क्लेरा। इससे पहले हमने डिस्कस किया था एनाटॉमी ऑफ आई। एनाटॉमी ऑफ आई में 3 कोट्स हमने पढ़ी थी। आउटर मोस्ट जो कोट होती है उसमें 2 चीजें आती हैं आपकी, कॉर्निया एंड स्क्लेरा। तो कॉर्निया भी हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं। तो नेक्स्ट है इसमें स्क्लेरा। तो स्क्लेरा का विद फॉर्म्स द posterior opaque 5-6 part of the external fibrous tunic of the eyeball। जो हमारी आउटर मोस्ट ट्यूनिक है, आउटर मोस्ट कोट है आईबॉल की, दैट इज अ फाइब्रस कोट। उसका भी जो पोस्टीरियर पार्ट है 6 पार्ट वो होता है स्क्लेरा और एंटीरियर 1/6 पार्ट होता है कॉर्निया। इट्स होल आउटर सरफेस इज कवर्ड बाय टैनस कैप्सूल एंड ऑल्सो बाय द बल्बर कंजक्टिवा इन द एंटीरियर पार्ट। इसमें जो पूरा आउटर सरफेस है वो टैनन कैप्सूल से कवर्ड होता है और टैनन कैप्सूल के ऊपर होता है बल्बर कंजक्टिवा एंटीरियर साइड में। इट्स इनर सरफेस लाइज विद कांटेक्ट विद द कोरोइड विद अ पोटेंशियल सुप्राकोरोइडल स्पेस इन बिटवीन। ठीक है, तो जो अंदर सरफेस होता है वो नेक्स्ट जो लेयर है कोरोइड उसके टच में होता है और इन दोनों के बीच में स्पेस जो होता है उसको बोलते हैं सुप्राकोरोइडल स्पेस। ठीक है, तो स्क्लेरा और कोरोइड के बीच वाले स्पेस को बोलते हैं सुप्राकोरोइडल स्पेस। स्क्लेरा इज थिकेस्ट posteriorly 1 mm and gradually becomes thin when traced anteriorly। सो जो मोस्ट पोस्टीरियर पार्ट है वो सबसे थिक होगा और धीरे धीरे जैसे एंटीरियरली आते हैं ऐसे थिन होता चला जाता है। इन इट्स एंटीरियर मोस्ट पार्ट नियर द लिम्बस देयर इज अ फरो व्हिच इनक्लोजेस द कैनाल ऑफ श्लेम। ठीक है, जहाँ पे एंटीरियर मोस्ट पार्ट में जहाँ पे लिम्बस होता है जो जंक्शन है कॉर्निया स्क्लेरा का, वहाँ पे एक फरो प्रेजेंट होता है जिसमें आपकी कैनाल ऑफ श्लेम प्रेजेंट होती है। ठीक है, कैनाल ऑफ श्लेम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है क्योंकि हमारे जो एक्वासीवर होता है वो जो कैनाल ऑफ श्लेम ड्रेन होता है। ठीक है, तो यह थिकनेस ऑफ स्क्लेरा इसमें इमेज में दिखाई है जिसमें उन्होंने बताया है कि नियर इंसर्शन ऑफ एक्स्ट्राओकुलर मसल थिकनेस 0.3 mm होती है, मैक्सिमम होती है पोस्टीरियरली विच इज 1 mm और जैसे जैसे एंटीरियर आती है स्क्लेरा थिन होती चली जाती है। स्क्लेरोकोरल जंक्शन पे यानी लिम्बस पे इसकी थिकनेस होती है 0.83 mm। ठीक है, तो स्क्लेरा और दिखाया है इसमें कॉर्निया शो किया है इन्होंने, लिम्बस शो किया है। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट है स्पेशल रीजन्स ऑफ स्क्लेरा। लैमिना क्रिब्रोसा। लैमिना क्रिब्रोसा क्या होता है? इट इज अ सीव लाइक स्क्लेरा फ्रॉम विच द फाइबर्स ऑफ द ऑप्टिक नर्व पास। ठीक है, तो स्क्लेरा जहाँ पे सीव लाइक स्ट्रक्चर हो जाती है, छलनी ऐसा स्ट्रक्चर होता है जिसमें से ऑप्टिक नर्व पास करती है, उसको बोलते हैं लैमिना क्रिब्रोसा। स्क्लेरल अपर्चर्स एमिसेरिया। तो स्क्लेरा में 3 सेट्स ऑफ अपर्चर्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं। 3 सेट्स ऑफ अपर्चर्स होते हैं, पोस्टीरियर अपर्चर, मिडिल अपर्चर, एंटीरियर अपर्चर। जो पोस्टीरियर अपर्चर होता है दैट इज सिचुएटेड अराउंड द ऑप्टिक नर्व एंड द मिडिल अपर्चर इज सिचुएटेड 4 to 7 mm पोस्टीरियर टू द इक्वेटर। और जो तीसरा होता है एंटीरियर अपर्चर वो सिचुएटेड होता है 3 to 4 mm अवे फ्रॉम द लिम्बस। ठीक है, दीज आर द अपर्चर्स। तो आता है माइक्रोस्कोपिक स्ट्रक्चर पे। हिस्टोलॉजिकली अगर देखा जाए तो स्क्लेरा में 3 लेयर्स प्रेजेंट होती हैं। इसमें 3 लेयर्स होती है। एपिस्क्लेरल टिश्यू जो आउटर मोस्ट होता है उसके बीनीथ होता है स्क्लेरा प्रॉपर और उसके और जस्ट नीचे है लैमिना फेस्का। So what is the episcleral tissue? It is a thin, dense, vascularized layer of the connective tissue which covers the sclera proper. Anteriorly it becomes continuous with the Tannen's capsule. Second structure is the sclera proper. It is an avascular structure which consists of dense bundles of collagen fibers crossing each other in all directions. This arrangement makes the sclera opaque in contrast to cornea. Mucopolysaccharides are present in the interfibrillar space of the collagen fiber. Few fibroblasts are also present in this layer. Thirdly is the lamina fusca. It is the innermost part of sclera which blends with suprachoroidal and supraciliary lamina of the uveal tract. It is brownish in color owing to the presence of pigment cells. Then the blood supply of the sclera. The sclera receives its blood supply from the anterior ciliary arteries anterior to the insertions of the rectus muscles and the long and short posterior ciliary arteries. Then comes the nerve supply of the sclera. The sclera is supplied by the branches from the long ciliary nerves anteriorly and the short ciliary nerves behind the equator. Then comes the functions of the sclera. It protects the intraocular components from trauma, light and mechanical displacement. It withstands the considerable expansive force generated by the intraocular pressure, maintaining the shape of the goal. It provides attachment sites for the extraocular muscles. Thank you so much. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with this digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you so much.
Function of spreading the tear film over the cornea and conjunctiva, and also help in drainage of tears by lacrimal pump system. Then the parts of eyelid. Eyelid is divided by horizontal furrow or sulcus into an orbit and tarsal part. So here's an image of the eyelid where you can see the upper palpebral furrow, which have divided the eyelid into two parts, the orbital portion and the tarsal portion. And just like that, there's the lower palpebral furrow. Then the position of lids. When the eye is open, the upper lid covers about 1/6 of the cornea, and the lower lid just touches the limbus. Then canthi. What is canthi? The two lids meet each other at medial and lateral angles, which are known as the outer canthi and the inner canthi. The medial canthus is about 2 mm higher than the lateral canthus. Then what is the palpebral aperture? It is the elliptical space between the upper and the lower lid. When the eyes are open, it measures about 10 to 11 mm vertically in the center and about 28 to 30 mm horizontally. Then we comes to the lid margin. It is about 2 mm broad and is divided into two parts by the punctum. The medial lacrimal portion is rounded and it is devoid of lashes or glands. The lateral is called the ciliary portion and it consists of a rounded anterior border, a sharp posterior border, and an intermarginal strip between the two borders. Two borders means the anterior border and posterior border. In between the two borders, there is an intermarginal strip. And there is a gray line which marks the junction of skin and conjunctiva. It divides the intermarginal strip into an anterior strip bearing 2 to 3 rows of lashes and a posterior strip on which openings of meibomian glands are arranged in a row. The splitting of the eyelids when required in operations is done at the level of the gray line. So you understood what is a gray line? Then next is the structure. Each eyelid is consists of various layers. So we study these layers from anterior to posterior. The first structure in the eyelid is the skin. The skin of eyelid is elastic, having a fine texture, and is the thinnest in the body. Then next layer below the skin in the eyelid is the subcutaneous areolar tissue. This subcutaneous areolar tissue is very loose and contains no fat. It is thus readily distended by edema or blood. Then the next structure will be discussed. Here's an image in which they have shown the Structure of upper eyelid. In the lower side, there is the opening of meibomian gland, and at the root of hair follicle there is disease gland, and there is sweat gland, marginal arcade, meibomian gland in the tarsal plate, gland of Wolfram, peripheral arcade, Mueller's muscle, levator, gland of Cross, fat, septum orbicularis, orbicularis oculi muscle. Then the third layer in the eyelid is the layer of striated muscle. It consists of orbicularis muscle, which forms an oval sheet across the eyelids. It comprises three portions: the orbital portion, the palpebral portion, and the lacrimal portion. It closes the eyelids and is supplied by a zygomatic branch of the facial nerve. Therefore, in the paralysis of facial nerve, there occurs lagophthalmos, which may be complicated by exposure keratitis. What is lagophthalmos? It is the inability to close the eyelids, and thus in the eyelid there is a striated muscle present called the orbicularis oculi, which is supplied by the facial nerve branch. So in case of facial paralysis, then patient suffer from the lagophthalmos. Patient is not able to close the eyelids, and when he is not able to close the eyelids due to exposure, there will be the inflammation of cornea. In addition, the upper lid also contains the levator palpebrae superioris muscle. It is called the LPS muscle. It arises from the apex of the orbit and is inserted by three parts on the skin of lid, anterior surface of the tarsal plate, and conjunctiva of superior fornix. It raises the upper lid and it is supplied by a branch of oculomotor nerve. Then the fourth layer in the eyelid is the submuscular areolar tissue. It is a layer of loose connective tissue, and the nerves and vessels, these lie in this layer. Therefore, to anesthetize lids, injection is given in this plane of submuscular areolar tissue, which is supplied by the nerves. It is anesthetized by the injection. Then the next layer in the eyelid is fibrous layer. It is the framework of the lids and consists of two parts: the central tarsal part and the peripheral septum orbital. I will show that in the image. The tarsal plate. These are two plates of dense connective tissue, one for each lid. Means in each lid we have a plate of connective tissue which gives shape and firmness to the lids. This is a function of tarsal plate. It is present to shape and provide firmness to the lids. The upper and lower tarsal plate join with each other at medial and lateral canthus. These two plates will join at the two canthi and are attached to the orbital margins through medial and lateral palpebral ligaments. In the substance of the lateral plates lie the meibomian glands in the parallel rows. Therefore, the meibomian glands are called the tarsal glands because they are present in the tarsal plates. Then in this image they have shown the tarsal plate and the septum orbital. Okay, the inferior tarsus, superior tarsus, and on the both sides they have shown the lateral palpebral ligament and the medial palpebral ligament. So next part is the septum orbital, which is also called the palpebral fascia. It is a thin membrane of connective tissue attached centrally to the tarsal plates and peripherally to the periosteum of the orbital margin. It is perforated by nerves, vessels, and a muscle called the levator palpebrae superioris, which enter the lids from the orbit. Then comes the sixth layer. The sixth layer of non-striated muscle fibers. It consists of the palpebral muscle of Mueller, which lies deep to the septum orbital in the both the lids. In the upper lid, it arises from the fibers of LPS muscle, and in the lower lid from prolongation of the inferior rectus muscle, and is inserted on the peripheral margins of the tarsal plate, and it is supplied by the sympathetic fibers. Then the last layer of the eyelid is the conjunctiva. The part which lines the lids is called the palpebral conjunctiva, and it consists of three parts as we have discussed in the conjunctiva: marginal, tarsal, and orbital. So here completes the layers of the eyelids. So here our session completes with this slide. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you so much.